Take Wild Cherry Pepsi, a slot machine, and Jason Biggs? What? Yeah. It's time to review a game show called Cherries Wild. Cherries Wild currently airs Sunday nights at 7 p.m. on the Fox network, and it's 30 minutes long. I bring that fact up because every other game show that airs in prime time, excluding those on GSN and Buzzer, all the other primetime game shows are an hour long. Although most other game shows, such as ABC's Supermarket Sweep and Card Sharks, are really two 30-minute episodes mashed together. Now, let me talk about the host let me talk about the host, okay? Before I ever watched 1 second of Cherries Wild, I had very, very low expectations for Jason Biggs as a game show host. I am just not a fan of the whole concept known as B-list unemployed actor needs work, so let's have them host a game show. This is kind of what happened with Drew Carey hosting The Price is Right in 2007, and now, 14 years later, it's what we have with Jan Krakowski, aka Miss Pregnant Pauls, hosting the remake of Name That Tune, which also airs on Fox. Now, why they can't bring back Beat Shazam, which is a even better show than any of the ones I mentioned, is beyond me. Anyway. So, however, I will say that Biggs surprisingly holds up as a good host. He makes entertaining small talk with the contestants, and he even tells some jokes relating back to his work on American Pie, which was a hit 22 years ago. But Biggs does not try to overtake the game like Leslie Jones does with Supermarket Sweep. Biggs is authentic and down to earth, and Murray reminds me of playing trivia games with my best friend during our adolescent years. So now let's talk about the game. This game is played with two people. It can either be a pair of friends or a pair of spouses, what have you. The game starts off by Jason Biggs saying that no matter what happens in the next 2 rounds, the contestants will have one free spin they can use for the final round. The goal is to accumulate 5 wild cherries throughout the game in order to get a $250,000 grand prize. Round 1 of this show is called Fact or Fiction. The contestants are given 5 statements about celebrities, and they have to decide whether or not they're true or false. Some of the statements could be Lindsay Lohan and Raven-Symoné were once roommates, or it could be Mike Tyson owns a $2 million gold bathtub, one of those kind of things. Interesting things about pop culture that you wouldn't just know from looking on Wikipedia, which tells you that the research in these questions is pretty top notch. Okay, so each space on the slot machine represents a question being asked. If the contestant gets a question right, then the slot machine will turn. The little window will turn, and the end result will be cash, a free spin, a wild space, or one bunch of wild cherries. If they answer the question wrong, they get 1 red X. Now, if they hit a wild, it also should be mentioned that if a viewer watches this show at Sundays at 7 p.m., they can participate in the Pepsi Wild Cherry app game and have a chance to win a lot of big cash prizes. Okay, one thing about the wild space. If contestants hit the wild space, they can push a button under each of the 5 windows of the slot machine, and that's how much money they can accumulate. So there might be one where they get $1,000, the next one could be $5,000, but it might accumulate to like 30 grand or something. But it's a nice little bonus in the game. So after these 5 statements about celebrities are asked, The first commercial break is taken, and then we come back to round 2. Round 2 is called One Big Question. But the catch here is that this is one question with 5 different answers. The episode I just reviewed was which sitcom featured this family name. The first question asked was the Griffin family. There were 5 possible answers to pick from, and of 5 different sitcoms, and from there you can figure out what the Griffin family is. And it's not the Andy Griffith Show, it's more of a modern sitcom, an animated sitcom, I should say. Not going to give the answer away. No, not going to do that. Okay, it should be known that right and wrong answers are treated the same as round 1, with the one exception being that now higher dollar amounts are awarded in round 2. Instead of like $5,000, now there's $10,000, might be a $20,000, $25,000 on the board, that kind of thing. Also, in round 2, if the contestants answer all 5 questions correctly, they will earn 1 set of wild cherries, which helps them with the end result of getting 5 wild cherries to redeem for $250,000. Final round. This is the fun round, I should say. Contestants are now going to play the slot. They're going to pull the handle for the slot machine. The number of spins they can use in this round is determined through how many spins and free spins they have been awarded during the first 2 rounds. Now, it should be noted that contestants can stop after each spin if they like how much money they have accumulated. The money that they have won in the first 2 rounds is added to the current dollar amount on the slot machine to give them the total payout amount. Total payout amount they can take if they decide to stop the game. Now, if the slot machine turns up a red X, no additional money is awarded for that spin. But it should be noted that any money that the contestants has earned from the first 2 rounds is safe from the final slot machine play. However, if contestants run out of spins, they can actually trade $10,000 of their winnings from the first 2 rounds and trade it in for 1 spin. The more money they have earned in the first 2 rounds, well, the more opportunities to buy spins they can take. Remember, the goal is to get 5 wild cherries for the $250,000 grand prize. But contestants can always walk away with less money if they can't or think it's too risky to get to 5 wild cherries. And that is Cherries Wild, a simple 30-minute game show that combines pop culture trivia with a casino element known as the slot machine, or in Cherries Wild case, the 3-story tall slot machine. Yeah, this slot machine is bigger than most people's houses around America. It's pretty neat. Now, I personally feel that this is a great show to watch, but the only issue I have with the game is that the trivia is pop culture only and it is not academic. My suggestion would be to make round 1 pop culture and round 2 academic, and also make more of a variety in the types of questions asked, and get away from just true, false, and word association types. Because if this game show is binged watched, if you watch 3-4 episodes in a row, then you're probably going to be pretty bored with it. But if they mix things up a little bit, you'll have a lot more variety. That's why Jeopardy still does well in the ratings. It's been on the air for 37 years, and it still is very good in the ratings because there's a variety of types of trivia. Not only the subject matter, but also they have a lot of word play in there and all kinds of good stuff. Okay, another thing I have to mention about the show is the time slot. Sunday nights at 7 p.m. without having an NFL game as a lead-in is a death wish for any show on Sunday night, regardless of how good it might be. And also keep in mind, 60 Minutes has dominated the 7 p.m. time slot since the 1970s. And on ABC, you have America's Funniest Home Videos that has been on Sunday nights for over 30 years. And even in today's age of YouTube and internet videos, that show still does pretty good in the ratings. So when you combine a poor time slot with a product placement gimmick and Wild Cherry Pepsi, and then call the show Cherries Wild, well, it's obvious that this show will be off the air before the summer. And that's too bad, in my opinion. I would say get a better sponsor commitment from Pepsi and move the show to Sundays at 8:30 after The Simpsons. Or better yet, move the show to a weeknight and cut Name That Tune into a 30-minute show. Or, better yet, make The Masked Singer 90 minutes long and put Cherries Wild at 9:30 p.m. and have The Masked Singer as its lead-in to prop up Cherries Wild ratings. I mean, I have not seen a game show this good with a time slot this bad since CBS scheduled Winning Lines on Saturday nights back in like 2000. I think it was 2000 or 99 or somewhere around there. But all in all, I have to say I give Cherries Wild an 8 out of 10, and I would strongly suggest you at least watch one episode. Remember, the episodes, these are only 30 minutes, or without commercials they're about 21 minutes, but it's not as big a time commitment as watching Card Sharks or Press Your Luck. The ABC Press Your Luck, the Pierce Morgan Press Your Luck on Buzzer is 30 minutes, but you get my drift, I think. So check out Cherries Wild. It's streaming right now on Hulu. Or if you're old school, watch it Sunday nights at 7 p.m. on your local Fox station. For the Conservative Pelican, I'm Bobby Crawford. Bye now.